Hi, it's Eben. In my first video, I showed you how I've been able to launch an information product business from home and create $1 million business after another, all of them helping other people. And you got to see some of the trends of the growth of the information industry and learn that this is a real, honest-to-goodness, long-term business trend that has been making a lot of people very successful financially. You also learn the secret to identifying the knowledge that you already have that you can turn into an information product, right? You learn that identifying a problem that a lot of people are having and that you know how to solve is the answer. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact mindset and techniques that I use to target highly profitable business niches, and I'm going to show you how I've targeted my business niches. And then in the third video, the one that's coming next, I'm going to teach you how to format, how to create content and information products that you can sell for very high prices. When you combine the right mindset with the right niche and the right product, you get massive success selling information products online. So let's get started. In my hot little hands, I'm holding a guitar that'll set you back maybe $5,000 if you buy it. Now, to make this fun, I'm going to attempt to play this guitar for you, and then I'll be back in a minute to explain how to use the same secret that the maker of this guitar used to get me to spend thousands of dollars on it. By the way, I'm not only doing this to be a little bit silly, but I've also gotten a little tired of seeing Frank Kern playing his cute little southern Macon, Georgia wussy slide guitar in his videos, and I think it's time to show him what some real guitar sounds like. So let's see what this baby can do. All right, let's rock out. All right, take that, Frank. Okay, that was fun, but I have a question. Why would anyone in their right mind buy a guitar like that and spend so much money when you could get 5 or 10 great guitars for the same money? And I've already got 5 or 10 great guitars, right? Because that guitar solved a problem for me that I was trying to solve for a long time, right? I was trying to solve it literally for 20 years when this one came out. And it has to do with the arrangement of the pickups and the different combinations of sounds that you can get from it that you really can't get from any other guitar, quite like that one. The guitar is what I call a priceless answer, and I had to have it as soon as I saw it. Now, you should not go into the custom electric guitar building business, especially now, but you can use this insight that caused me to spend a lot of money in a much better way, to your own advantage. And if you use the psychology that caused me to buy the guitar, which literally anyone can use, you can identify a profitable niche to build an online information, advice, or coaching business. And I'm about to show you exactly how to do it. In the rest of this video, I'm going to explain how to create and capitalize on your own priceless answer and target your own niche so you can also sell your advice and information products and coaching for high prices online. So let's talk about the secret to targeting a great information product niche that makes big money online. In our first video, we learned about the mistake of trying to sell yourself and sell your expertise and why you need to focus on problems and desires that people have instead. The bottom line is that every person is experiencing some kind of problem, challenge, or fear in their lives that they want to solve right now, or some kind of desire that they want met right now. Let me say it again. It's not about you, how smart you are, how experienced you are, or how much you know about a particular topic. People care first about solving their own problem, and then a very distant second about your credentials. And unless you're doing brain surgery or building spaceships or skyscrapers, most people are far more focused on themselves and solving their problems than they are worrying about you and your qualifications. Again, the question that your prospective customer is asking is, how do I solve my problem? Not, what are your qualifications? And by putting your focus on their problem, their pain, their fear, or in some cases their desire, you can create what I call a priceless answer. And once you've created a priceless answer, people will line up to give you money in exchange for it. So let me give you a couple of examples, simple examples, to explain why it's so important to focus on the problem your customer is having and how this translates into a big money-making opportunity. So let's say that one day you started to see mice in your house. Yeah, you saw one run by in the kitchen. Next day you saw it run by again. And then one day you saw a mouse in your bedroom. Okay, you would probably reach the point where you became motivated to get rid of the mice. All right, that's when pain meets urgency. And you ask a very important question. You ask, how do I get rid of these mice now? And what do? You go to a store and you get a mousetrap. But remember, you're not going to the store to invest in a mousetrap. Okay? You're not going to buy a mousetrap. You go to the store to invest in getting rid of the mice. And when there are mice in your bedroom, you're not particularly concerned with whether or not you're buying the best mousetrap engineered by a rocket scientist to withstand all environments and conditions. You just want the mice gone, and you want them gone right now. As the old story goes, when you go to the hardware store to buy a 1/4-inch drill bit, you don't want a 1/4-inch drill bit, you want a 1/4-inch hole. And you don't ask a lot of questions about drill bits, you just buy the one that drills the 1/4-inch hole for you. I know this sounds simple, but trust me on this one. Probably 95% of people that decide to go into information marketing or consulting or coaching fail to get this simple point. And it's why they fail. Instead of focusing on the pain and the urgency that the customer is experiencing and creating a priceless answer in the form of techniques, steps, and systems, and then packaging them up into a simple information product to sell, they instead focus on themselves, what they know, they brag about their knowledge, and they try to convince people to buy them. It's really the equivalent of trying to convince people who have mice to invest in your special mousetrap that's made of rare brass and sustainable woods, rather than putting your mousetrap in front of people who have mice. So let's take an example from the information marketing world. Okay, a lot of people target prospects who want to lose weight. What does someone who wants to lose weight really want to know? I was talking to my friend Joe Polish recently, and he was quoting the late Gary Halbert, who is one of the most brilliant copywriters of all time. And Gary Halbert said, people don't want to know what to eat in order to lose weight. Okay, they want to know what to eat when they're at Krispy Kreme in order to lose weight. Okay? People don't want nutritional information. They want to know what to eat when they're out at their favorite restaurant so they don't die soon from fat, carbs, sugar, cholesterol, and other evil stuff that's hidden in the food that they're afraid of. So here's an example of what a smart information marketer has created to address that need. It's a book called Eat This, Not That, The No Diet Weight Loss Solution. Now that sounds pretty good, huh? Eat this, not that. And voila, just look at the pages and you see what to eat at your favorite restaurant to avoid calorie, salt, and other nasties. So let's take a look at a couple of my favorite examples in this book, all right? So here on page 38 and 39, Burger King, eat this, the Whopper Jr. without mayo and a garden salad, 365 calories. Instead of the BK Big Fish sandwich with tartar sauce and the medium fries, which weighs in at 1,000 calories and 52 grams of fat. All right, next. Here we go. Chevy's Fresh Mex. Eat this, the Santa Fe chopped salad. 338 calories instead of the tostada salad. 1,228 calories. I mean, they look like the same salad. All right, how about Chili's? Eat this. The Sizzle and Spice Firecracker Tilapia. Not that. The Citrus Fire Chicken and Shrimp Fajitas. All right, one is 470 calories. The other is 1,360 calories and 73 grams of fat. And then back a little bit further, here's another example that I really like. Panda Express. Eat this. Broccoli beef. 350 calories rather than the Kung Pao chicken. 1,060 calories and 40.5 grams of fat. Now, this is a book that sells for 20 bucks or so in a bookstore. Not exactly the kind of money that's going to get you excited to go into information marketing, right? And especially with the profit margins on books, you might get 50 cents or $1 from the publisher if you were the one that wrote it. But there are other ways to package information so that it sells for a lot more money. And that reminds me of a story. About 9 years ago, I started my current business with an ebook. Okay, I wrote an ebook in about 3 weeks and I put it online. It was an ebook of dating advice. As my business grew and it became more and more successful, I had people start asking me the question, how do you build a successful business? How do you hire people and how do you manage them and how do you run the business and how do you do all this stuff? How do you do the marketing to grow a successful business? Well, I got asked so much, I said, well, there's a niche opportunity. There's a priceless answer that people are looking for. So I decided to do a live seminar, thinking that it was going to be fun and thinking it was going to be a big home run. And I thought, well, I'm teaching this very valuable business advice, so I'm going to charge a lot for it. So I did a program called Altitude. It was a 5-day live training, and I charged $10,000 to attend. And we had people fly in from 26 countries to come to that program. And because we wanted to do a great job, we spent a lot on the production. We did it at a 5-star hotel, and we didn't really wind up making any profit on the live event itself. But we did film it, and originally I wasn't going to turn it into a home study course, but because we didn't make much money on the live event, I said, okay, let's make a home study course. And we sold that, and we did make a lot of money from the home study version of the program. But here's the interesting part. While I was at the live program, while I was teaching, I wanted to learn as much as I could. So I did a little informal survey, and I said, how many people in this room are in the information marketing business? And I was shocked when about half the people in the room raised their hand. See, I thought it was just going to be business people coming to the program, and I thought, yeah, there'd be a couple of information marketers there. But it turned out that it was mostly information marketers, more than any other business category. So that made a light bulb go on in my head, and I realized, there's another niche opportunity. People who want to learn information marketing. So, several months later, we launched the Guru Mastermind training program, which turned out to be the biggest product launch in our history. Okay? So while I was at one program, I realized that there was a need, there was a niche within the niche, and I focused on that smaller niche, and we did an even bigger launch. Now, while I was doing that launch for the Guru Mastermind, I did a survey, and I asked a question. I asked, what's your biggest frustration growing your information marketing business? And surprise, surprise, as I read through all the answers, and something like 1,000 people took the survey, maybe a few more, I realized that more than any other answer, people were saying that they were frustrated with their time management and their productivity. Okay, now I didn't ask what their challenge was in time management. I asked what their challenge was with their information business. But it turned out that time management and productivity was their big problem. So I said, another niche opportunity, all right, another priceless answer. So I created a time management and personal productivity program called Wake Up Productive. And if you watched the last video, you saw that we've now sold almost $1 million worth of that one product since we launched it. And originally I created that program just as a bonus to go along with the Guru Mastermind, right? We took it and we made its own separate product and we sold it. Now, while doing all of these other programs, I got asked over and over and over, how do you start a business? And I had people ask me to start a business startup program, which, again, I recognized, another niche opportunity. People are asking for this. And so we created our Ignition business training program. And that took off and became another $1 million plus business. And while I was creating the Ignition program and I was talking to people about what they wanted to learn, I realized that people just needed general education about money and finance, right? Their personal financial lives. So I created a bonus to go with the Ignition program called Self-Made Wealth. And you can probably guess where this is going. A couple of months ago, we did a test launch, just a little internal test launch, and we took the Self-Made Wealth Bonus Program. We launched it as its own training, and we did about $250,000 in sales. And that will be another $1 million brand soon when we do a big public launch of it. So what do these all have in common? Do you see the pattern? Each of these latest brands, each of these latest trainings, each of these latest information marketing businesses that I launched, each of them was a priceless answer that I discovered. Okay? It was an answer, a niche that I discovered, not just information that I wanted to talk about. Which leads me to one of my biggest insights in marketing. There are two types of information. Two types, and you might want to write these down. The first type is suggestions, and the second type is solutions. Okay, suggestions and solutions. Suggestions are what experts create, and solutions are what moneymakers create. And the difference is that one is being searched for because there's a motivation for it, and the other is not. People pay real money for solutions. They don't pay real money for suggestions. So how do you know if what you're teaching is suggestions or what you're teaching is solutions? Well, here are some clues. All right? If you're giving suggestions, number one, they're based on logic and long-term thinking. They're what a person should be doing. Number two, they're typically based on prevention. And number three, they're usually theoretical and conceptual. So let me say those again. They're based on logic and long-term thinking. All right, they're what a person should be doing. Number two, they're based on prevention. And number three, they're usually theoretical and conceptual. So let's say that you're teaching weight loss. If you're teaching suggestions, what you're going to do is teach things like, well, you should eat low-carb foods that don't have a lot of processed carbohydrates. And you should eat low-fat meals so that you don't gain weight. It's all kind of the right thing to do, and it's very logical, but it's not what people are looking for. So let's contrast this with a solution. How do you know if you're delivering a solution? Well, number one, it delivers relief. Number two, it's being searched for. And number three, it gives a specific, tangible result. So again, it delivers relief, it's being searched for, and it delivers a specific, tangible result. You remember I said I started my very first information marketing business by writing a book of dating advice? Okay, that book was called Double Your Dating. Double Your Dating. I didn't write a book called Great Relationships. Why not? Because I know that books that are called Great Relationships are full of a bunch of logical, conceptual suggestions, and I know that a man who's trying to get a date doesn't want any of that. He wants tangible stuff that he can use to get a date right now. He wants to learn things like how to overcome his fear and how to start a conversation with an attractive member of the opposite sex and how to write an online dating profile. He wants to double his dating. He wants relief from a drive that's inside of him. He's searching for solutions, and he wants tangible results. So that's a good way to decide, right, or draw a distinction between suggestions and solutions. Now you saw a great example of how far someone that's insane, that's me, will go when they have an irrational need and a drive that they're searching for a solution for, and you saw it in that guitar that I showed you at the beginning of the video. But have you seen any of these examples? Have you seen magic diet pills that you take and you wake up thin the next day? Or those battery-operated ab crunchers that you wear while you're sitting on the couch eating potato chips and they make you thin and sculpted? Or even penis enlargement pills, right? Those have been all the rage for quite a while. And I know that they have sold hundreds of millions of dollars of them. So why do people buy this crap? Why do they buy this stuff? I think the answer might shock you. It's because they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. These particular things are targeted so well, even though they're done in a very scammy way, they're targeted so well and they promise such an instant solution to something that's such a big problem and a big frustration that people can't help but buy them. Now, of course, don't sell scammy diet pills and things that, promise to work your body while you're eating potato chips or penis enlargement pills or any of that stuff, okay? Don't do that. But here's the key. The difference, the thing that makes your information either a solution or a suggestion, isn't about the information or knowledge itself. The thing that makes it a solution is that someone is looking for it. Now here's my experienced estimate of the proportion of information products, of advice, and of coaching that are solutions versus suggestions. Okay? Yep, that's it. Right? I think that it's about 95% suggestions and only about 5% solutions. Almost all of the ideas that I hear people give me for starting an information business, they're all suggestions. They're all great recommendations. They make for interesting reading and trivia and kind of theoretical conceptual understanding, but they are not solutions. They're not a priceless answer to a problem that someone is searching for. Now again, I recommend that you sell only things that you believe in and that work, of course, but why do you think that people are spending $1 billion a year on coaching, both personal and professional? And what do you think most of this coaching is about? You remember in the first video when I mentioned the big 3 mega niches? Well, now we're going to delve into what they are, learn about them, and learn why it's very important to use them to target your next niche and how you can use them to make a lot of money. So let's talk a little bit about psychology. But this is interesting psychology. In fact, it's probably the most interesting psychology that I've ever heard because it's the exact information you need to turn what you know into money. So check this out. Abraham Maslow, the guy that came up with the pyramid with the hierarchy of needs, right? He discovered that we come wired, pre-wired, with a drive to meet our needs. And if we don't have our needs met, we seek out, we go searching for the solutions that will meet them. This is a biological drive, okay? And they come in a whole series, a whole level, a sequence. And what do you think are the biggest needs that we have the biggest drives to solve? Exactly. They're the big 3 mega niches: health, relationships, and money and business success. And it turns out that these are the 3 big mega categories of niches where almost all of the money is made with information products, with advice, and with coaching. Why? Because we need to survive, we need to have successful relationships, and we need to succeed in life. It's human biology. It's human psychology. The reason why most people fail in information products is because they create products that aren't specifically designed to meet an internal psychological need. And the reason why those who succeed typically do is because they created a product that solves one of these deep underlying needs and solves it quickly and solves it well. When you combine the idea of finding a need, creating a solution, and doing it within one of the 3 big mega niches, you dramatically increase your chances of succeeding selling high-priced information products, advice, and coaching online. Instead of thinking of yourself as a teacher, think of yourself as a key maker. You remember in the Matrix series, you remember the key maker character? He was the guy that was always making keys, and he could go anywhere in the Matrix very quickly because he could open up the lock. When you're teaching information that people should know rather than what they're seeking to know, you're literally fighting an uphill battle. When you find out what your customers are looking for, when you find out what they're frustrated about, when you figure out what's really driving them, you get inside of them, you kind of make a map of what's happening, of their frustrations, of their pain, of their problems, and then you make a special key that fits in and opens up that lock and gives them what they need. Okay? This is what leads to success. When you identify that problem, that fear, that frustration that they have, and then you hold that fixed, you hold that in your mind, and you bend all of your knowledge to fit that, that's when you start having success. Okay? Not taking what you already have and trying to decorate it or dress it up or put some sparkles on it so that people will want to buy it. Map the inside of their problem, understand it, and then make a key for it. This is your solution. This is your priceless answer. You want to go out and you want to map the minds of many of your prospective customers. You want to put them together into one image, okay, one avatar. I actually call it a customer avatar. This is like a map of the inside of the lock that you're building a key for. Keys that work aren't accidental. They're intentional. Now we're about to do an important exercise. But I hope what you've learned so far has helped shift your mindset about targeting a niche. Okay? You don't target a niche by picking your target. You target a niche by discovering. It's not about picking a niche, it's about finding, discovering a niche. And the way you do this is you find an unmet need and then you solve it with your information. So now we're going to do a two-part exercise in order to target a profitable money-making information product, advice, or coaching niche. And we're going to choose our niche based on solutions, on a priceless answer, not on suggestions and ideas and expertise. We're going to select a niche that is likely to have buyers, and ideally millions of them. Okay, so quickly go down below this video right now and download the two exercises that you'll see there and print them out using your printer. You might want to pause the video to do this. Also, you might want to print them out at about 95% or so to make sure that they get all the way on the page. Okay, so pause the video, print out the exercise, come back. I'm serious. Go down there, print them out. Okay, good? So the first exercise is called the niche test. And what I've discovered is that most niche ideas aren't good to begin with. Okay? They're really missing the boat in some way. So these are simple yes or no questions. Simple yes or no, just to give us kind of a first glance, give us a rough idea of whether or not our niche is a good idea. Now these 4 questions, again, are yes or no questions. And ideally what you're looking for is 4 yeses. If you get 4 yeses, you've got a great idea. If you don't get 4 yeses, you want to keep tweaking it until you do get 4 yeses. And I'll give you a hint. Most of the people that come up with a niche idea, that they run it by me, they get 4 no's, and not even 1 or 2 yeses. All right? Okay, good. So, first question. Is my prospect experiencing pain and urgency or irrational passion? So why do we want to know if they're experiencing pain and urgency or irrational passion? Because we want to know if they're emotionally motivated to go and take action. If they're not emotionally motivated, then you're going to have to convince them to buy what you're selling, and that's very hard. Number 2, is my prospect proactively looking for solutions? In other words, have they gotten to the point where they're so motivated, they've gotten up off their butt, and they've gone out to find a solution, okay, to their fear, frustration, or their desire? Why is this important? Because if they're out looking for a solution, they're much more likely to be a buyer. And if they haven't gotten to the point where they're looking for a solution, then again, you have to talk them into it. It's one of the reasons why I like search marketing and search engine marketing so much, because by definition, the prospect is going to a search engine and searching for an answer. So if you can make it work with search marketing, that's a good test that indicates you will probably be able to make it work with other types of marketing. And the third question is, does my prospect have few or no perceived options? Okay, few options. This is important because if your prospect has a need and they're searching for solutions, but they have tons and tons of options, then you have to play the competition game. And usually the way that game is played is on price. And you don't want to be competing on price. You don't want to have to keep lowering and lowering your price. So you're looking for a niche where there's not a lot of competition, right? Where people are emotionally worked up, they're searching for a solution, but they don't feel like they have lots of options. And then, question 4, are at least 1 in 1,000 people looking for a solution for this problem right now? Okay, so literally right now, are at least 1 in 1,000 people looking for a solution to this drive that they have right now? So the reason why we ask this question is because we want to make sure there's a market that's big enough. Okay, you need a big enough market. I did some research. I determined that there are something like 1 billion speakers of English on the planet, that English is either their first or second language. Okay, they can speak English, they can converse in English. And I assume right now that if you're watching this video, you can speak English. So if 1 in 1,000 people have this problem and they're looking for a solution right now, then that means that there are at least 1 million people that are looking for a solution. It's a good market. Okay, so is the prospect experiencing pain and urgency or irrational passion? Are they proactively looking? Are they searching for a solution? Are there few or no perceived options? And are at least 1 in 1,000 people in the world looking for a solution to this problem right now? If you get 4 yeses, you've come up with a niche that you owe it to yourself to test, because it probably has a very high probability of working. Okay, next, and this is the most important exercise. what we're going to do here is once you got 4 yeses, we're going to do this exercise called the niche key-making process. And let me read you what's on the top of this exercise. Once you've answered all of the niche test questions with a yes, you've then identified a potential niche market that is highly likely to work for you. Next, you must identify the specific emotional needs and drives of your prospects, identify the strong unmet need that they have, position your offer to address this unmet need, and then discover where your prospects are searching for solutions so you can get in front of them. So you're going to notice that there are 4 questions on this exercise. What I recommend that you do is you brainstorm as many answers as you can to each of these questions. Let me explain the questions to you. The first question, where does my prospect have an emotional, irrational need driven by strong fear or desire? Okay, so in my case, when I started Double Your Dating, what I did is I looked around and I saw that there were a lot of men, many millions of men, that were trying to get a date, right? They were trying to find a mate. And I knew that this was frustrating in a lot of different ways. So I wrote this down, right? I wrote down they had these fears and frustrations. They wanted companionship. They wanted someone to be in love with. They wanted someone to mate with. They wanted someone to cuddle with, right? They wanted all these different things. And once I identified those, right, it gave me a lot of clarity. Okay, question number 2. What is the unmet need that I can solve with my knowledge, systems, and techniques? And what I want to do is I want to identify within all of those needs the unmet need. Okay? So a lot of needs that we have, some of them are getting met a little bit, some of them we perceive that we can get met in other ways. I want to know the unmet need. I want the specific one that's really driving the person, because I know if I can target that one, then I'm going to do much better than if I can't. In my case, the unmet need was they want more dates, and they think that's the answer to everything. So I targeted it around dates. So question number 3, how can I offer my knowledge and advice in a way that solves the unmet need? Okay, how do I offer it so that it solves the unmet need? In my case, I created an ebook called Double Your Dating. It was very clear. The promise is you can double the amount of dates that you can get. Now some people say, well, what if I have 0 dates? Because 2 times 0 is still 0. And I say that's another problem that we'll deal with in a different book. The question is, how do you format up what you know? Right? What do you do with it so that it will meet those needs? Question number 4, where is my prospect searching for solutions to their challenge that I could find? And the reason we ask this question is we want to know, where are they going to look for the solution to their problem? Because I want to go get there and I want to meet them there. Okay? I want to head them off at the pass, so to speak. And so what I did is I went online and I did a bunch of research, and I learned that they were going to dating websites, and they were going to content websites for dating tips, and they were going on Google, and they were doing searches for dating advice. And I went there and I did my promotions and my advertisements there. So there you have it. 2 great exercises to help you identify a niche that's highly likely to make money, that's based on a solution and not a suggestion. And if you answer the niche test with 4 yeses, and then you do the niche key-making process exercise, and you go through those 4 questions, you'll really fine-tune and sculpt your niche so that it's the most probable to be very successful when you create information products, advice, and coaching. Great job. Now in the next video, I'm going to teach you how to create highly valuable content, including articles and information products, and how to present this information and content in a way that people will pay high prices for it. Oh, and finally, do us all a favor, go down below this video and leave a comment in the box to let us know what you learned. Share the knowledge, share what you learned and what you're going to do with it. Okay, I'll talk to you again soon. I'm done.